The Dublin derbies, it doesn't matter whether you're playing in Tolka Park or Dalymount or Richmond, is difficult to predict, but when Cork play Derry, I don't know whether it's geographical or whatever, we had the upper hand here in the Brandywell, played well here last year and then today, and Cork certainly had the upper hand in Turner's Cross. So I thought we deserved winners today, and I'm very happy with our level of performance at the moment every week.
We went against all the basic principles we played in the first half tonight, and yet it took the fluke of flukes to put Derry in at half time, and that first goal in games of this nature will always be decisive, always be a defining moment in the game, and so it turned out.
It was a tough match, but I thought we thoroughly deserved it. Apart from a shot from 30 yards, but good effort. I can't remember Cork having a chance on goal, to be honest.
Well, Paul, lots of talking points in that match. There usually is when Derry and Cork meet. Certainly a top draw performance by Derry City. Cork have no complaints, really, can they?
Totally deserved the victory, Derry, on the night. They're flying in the league at the moment.
They mean business again this year, don't they?
Absolutely. You know, last season, maybe people thought, maybe they thought themselves they overachieved, but they're back to business as usual now. And you know, they've scored 15, conceded 4. They've scored the most goals in the league. Only Drogheda have conceded less goals than them. And they're flying. They'll be very, very hard to beat, particularly in the Brandywell, where they've turned it into a fortress again, which it was, years ago. And nobody will fancy going up there to play Derry this year. They've
won their 6 matches there. Derry certainly come out on top in midfield, Paul. They overran Cork really in midfield. And you look at Joe Gamble, we mentioned him last week, playing on the left. Out of position, do you think, Joe Gamble there?
I certainly think so. I think Joe, he's a very competitive player. He needs to be in the thick of the action. He breaks things up very well in there, and he keeps it simple, gets Cork ticking. I think out on the left, he's definitely not in his best position. And they could have done with him in there on the other night to combat Kieran Martin, who makes a lot of forward runs and causes him a lot of problems.
We know, Paul, how good Pat McCourt is on form, and he was terrific in this match. He was involved in every move that Derry had, really.
Well, I mean, when he plays like that, he's a joy to watch, He's probably...
His corner here, that bizarre goal, by the way.
You can't legislate for this, it's good clearance. Unfortunately, comes off the back of Murphy's head, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. Very unfortunate goal to give away, but as I said, you can't legislate for it. O'Flynn heads it away, and it's over Gamble's head before he even knows it. Extremely unfortunate for Murphy, but at least it'll add to his goal tally at the end of the season. And this is magic here by McCourt. He just goes by players as if they're not there. He has that ability, and he just fails to hit the target. But as I said, when he's on this kind of form, he's an absolute joy to watch. I mean, he's worth the admission fee alone. Yeah. He leaves 3-4 players in his wake, just fails to hit the target, which is probably a bit of a weakness in his game, is his finishing. And this is the second goal then. Again, McCourt involved, picks her up in the corner. Plenty of bodies back. Nutmegs the defender, and Kieran Martin. I think that's his 4th or 5th goal.
Yeah, he's been a good form too, hasn't he?
He's flying. He's a tremendous player. In the right place there at the right time. And it's a difficult enough finish. He adjusts his body very well, to get the second goal and give a side the 3 points, and a big win for them.
It was. And Pat McCourt wasn't always the starter last season, was he, for Stephen Kenny's man?
Yeah, I think it took him a while when he came from Shamrock Rovers. It took him a while to settle down. I mean, he's a quality player. And sometimes it takes a while to get him in the position you want him and get used to a different style of play, but he's settled in really well now. I mean, I think you look at Cork, they had a big game against Shells, which they won, and emotionally and physically, it can take a lot out of you to come to another big game with a lot of travelling. And you can see, although McCourt, fantastic ability, that was very, very easy. And, that's not something that Cork would usually be a lot tougher than that.
Yeah. How concerned will Damien Richardson be, though, with the fact that Cork haven't scored away from home this season? Seem to be having a few problems on the travels, don't they, sure?
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to options. I think, again, you look at O'Flynn, if he's not firing, and O'Callaghan, if they have a bit of an off day, which, to be fair, Georgie didn't have one of his better days the other night, you kind of struggle to see where the goals are going to come from. And O'Donovan played, but again, he had played in the under-21s the night before. So, it was a tough week for Damien, I think. Maybe if he had more of a squad, he could have jumbled things around a little bit and would have freshened her up a little bit. Yeah, and certainly hasn't had a settled team this year. Certainly hasn't gone through a good stretch with a settled team, Damien. One very quick one, Paul. A few words exchanged there at half-time as well, we've seen. Always a bit of needle with Derry and Cork.
Well, I'll tell you, Damien's a brave man, because I wouldn't cross Paul Hegarty. That's all I'll say on that one.